Happy Friday! Thanks for joining me here. Tonight we're continuing on the American Spool block from the Splendid Sampler 2 quilt-along. So thanks for joining me. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for the beginning crafter. And I am here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. That's 9:30 Eastern and 6:30 Pacific. And it's a time that we can relax and craft together. I'm here for about an hour, and I work on projects from beginning to end, so you guys can be part of the whole process along the way. So tonight we are continuing on the Splendid Sampler 2. It is Splendid Sampler 2 week. We trade off weeks with different projects during the month, and the second full week of the month is the Splendid Sampler 2. We are working on the American Spool block. There's a variation. All right, and we're just about done. We attempted last night to stitch a realistic looking needle on there. So if you look close, this is all just a black, or a dark gray, a light, a white, and a light gray. It kind of looks, it's getting there. We're gonna work on that a little bit more tonight. I think we can make it look more realistic. It was a fun challenge, I think, last night to play around with. So we're gonna fill it in a little bit more with a medium gray. I mean, this kind of thread painting look is just, I think, all about just getting more and more detailed in there. So we're gonna add some dark gray to that, and then we have a little bit of the stitching. We have a little like line running stitch to do too, so we have to decide on that color. And if we get done with this pretty quick, I think we can probably start sewing together a couple of our finished blocks. So that'd be nice, get everything a little further along for this project. So thanks you guys. Next week, we will be stitching the sloth embroidery of the month. So be sure to check out that. I have, there's a PDF download for it, and I'll show you how to transfer that PDF to your fabric on Monday, and we will work on stitching that up. It'll be easy and fun and relaxing, and a quick win project that we'll finish in just a couple days. So all right, I'm gonna flip you around. Let's get going. All right, and here is where we left off last night. So this started out with the pattern from the book. So there's the applique or embroidery pattern. We decided to go embroidery, and there we go. These are both applique, but I just wanted to do embroidery. So here's our attempt so far at making a realistic looking needle. We were drawing face masks last night, but I found this needle, and we're just kind of looking at the different colors. You know how it's really light, that white color, and then we got like this dark gray and a few other grays in there, and we attempted to kind of draw that out a little bit based on a real needle with real like light hitting it, and try to translate that into the needle over here. So I don't know. It's suggesting that we're on the right track, I think, but I think we need to add maybe a little more grays in there and just get a little bit more detailed. So we are just gonna putz around with this a little bit more tonight. I mean, if you guys saw me last night drawing this, you know, it looks like it has some roundness and stuff here, but we literally started out with this and we're just kind of drawing rectangles. So it's coming along. It starts out as nothing, and it starts out as just bad, and then the more you work on it, the better it gets. So I think we have a start of something. It's starting to look like a real needle there. I mean, you know, a fat, funny needle, but I think once we add more to it, I think it's just going to get better. So hopefully that is the case. Oh, and Christy, I did not upload last night's video yet, so I'll try to get that done tonight. So I got my grays out here tonight. We had a limited palette of grays, gray color last night, so I headed to the basement where I got all of my floss there, and I'm hoping somewhere within here we will have a better gray. So what I'm looking for is, you can see I have white, I have a dark gray, and I have kind of this lighter gray. I think we need a gray that's kind of in the middle of the super dark and this light. So I'm just gonna grab, and we'll see. This is kind of looking like it's in the middle right now. Oh, I just mushed my fingernails. There, you guys get to see my fun fingernail tonight. That's what I get for trying to put fingernail polish on like 2 minutes ago. All right. So here we go. We got a couple grays here. Just going with one. So that's maybe this is a little dark. I think we need to go a little lighter. What about here? Okay, so that's quite a bit lighter, but I think it's still darker than, is it though? All right, I need like in the middle of these two. And now we're kind of getting a little purpley here. This one might do it. Let's see, what does this look like? All right, I mean, that's getting there. It's a little less silver. It's a little more purple colored, but it is kind of not so dark and not so light. Why don't we try with a little bit of this, and then we can always kind of fill in with some other colors yet. So I'll leave this here so we have it. Although this one was pretty good too. So this one's a little bluer. I think we're going to go with this little purplier one. All right, and I did find a small hoop today here, so I am going to use that because it was a little, all my nails. It was a little difficult to stitch without one last night, and I prefer stitching with a hoop, and this one's just the right size for this block. Oop, stretched a little bit more than I wanted to there. All right. There we go. So this is a little 4-inch hoop, and it's just perfect for what we got going on here. I don't think we'll need the hoop for our stitched line here that we still got to do. We'll do that last. But this will be helpful. Okay. So tonight, I also want to stitch with just one thread. So last night, we were doing 2 threads just to kind of fill the space a little bit quicker. I think a true thread painter would probably not do that. They'd probably just do the one strand of thread. But we were just experimenting. I wanted to try and get something done quick. So I'm not taking a ton of thread off of here just because I'm only going to use one strand, and I can always get more out of the 5 remaining strands on this 6-strand embroidery floss. So I didn't want to waste too much thread. So let's get our one strand out. Zoop. Okay. And you know what? I might even grab a smaller needle. I don't know if I really have one on here. There's a lot of needles on here, but there's actually not too much of a variety of needles. Here, what about this? So this one is just a little bit smaller than the embroidery needle that we were using. So I'm just hoping that, maybe it'll be not so thick. Maybe it'll be a little bit more delicate as I stitch these delicate stitches. And since I'm only using one strand of floss, I'm thinking I can get it through the eye of the needle here. If not, we'll just go back to the embroidery needle. Ooh, this is a very, 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 very small eye. I think we got it. Yeah, haha. All right. Oh, no, I haven't checked Trish Burr's site out. And you know what? I have a notebook here now. Or a little pad. I'm going to write that down just so I don't remember, or just so I don't forget. Sheesh. Okay, Trish Burr. Yeah, so I will look that up for some thread painting. Yeah, there are some amazing designers out there, or just artists, I guess, really doing some thread painting. I'm part of an embroidery group on Facebook, and gosh, the stuff that they're doing is so good, so amazing. Where did I get Zeb? So Zeb, this is who we refer to as Zeb. This is from Fish Museum and Circus. So you should just be able to Google that, Fish Museum and Circus on Etsy, or I think they have their own website now. It's Deborah. Deborah is her name. But she makes these little ceramic dudes, and I have a few of them. This one we've named Zeb because he looks like a little zebra here. I should show you the other ones. They're so freaking cute. This one... This one's got some pins. We named him Phil. Why did we call him that? Oh, because he had like a phalange. He had a big phalange coming off of his head. So he's Phil with his phalange. And then I have a thread pooping unicorn here from her. So the thread comes out right there. You can stick a spool of Orophyll thread. So this one I think we've named Ted because he holds thread. But I like him. He's so cute. So that's where I stopped. I was itching for one of these thread pooping unicorns for ages, and once I got him, I'm like, okay, I have my collection. So I have my collection of 3 guys here. But yeah, it's Deborah from Fish Museum and Circus. So now she has a batch posting Sunday night, Lucy says. So if you want one of these, you need a strategy. So make sure you're already on Etsy or her website, and they go out, they literally sell out in seconds, and I'm being very literal, like seconds. So I think she's doing it on her website now. I haven't purchased from her website. I've only purchased on Etsy, but I think she does it all from her website now. But on Etsy, it used to be that you had to have all your credit card information within Etsy already, meaning, I don't know how you would even do that without purchasing from Etsy before. And you had to be there at the exact time that she says, and you had to just click. You had to just click and go and hit OK and OK and OK. Really quick, no time to plug in any credit card number or anything like that. You just had to go. And so I suspect it's probably pretty similar on her website. So you need to choose and get that payment option in as fast as you can. Otherwise you're going to miss out. It is crazy. So, she is just like these little dudes clearly are popular. Now when you put an item in your cart, it reserves it. Okay, Lucy, that is good news, because yes, you had to have all your info like in there already, before getting going. Okay, good. So now, I mean, you still have to be there right at the right time. But I guess if it reserves it in your cart now, at least now, you have a moment to type in your information. I'm sure it's only reserved for a few minutes. But shoo-wee, man. Oh, Gail says, I would love to start a collection too. Oh my God. And now she has these kind of gorgeous, I think she calls them sewing boxes, but they're like these heads, and these like beautiful little heads that are just cute. And you take their little hats off, and then it's a cute little container to put all your sewing notions and stuff in. And I just thought those were pretty adorable. But I like the little characters. I think that's fun. Oh, Gretchen says a couple times someone just snagged something out of the cart. Yeah, you literally, to buy my first one, it took me 3 different times. So I had to get on her newsletter to find out the exact time that she was releasing stuff, and I had to be there and have my credit card info in right away. And they popped up, and I just grabbed the first one I could grab. and went with it because that's how fast they were going. It was nuts. But yeah, so now if they reserve in the cart, that's good. All right, so I just took this kind of medium gray, and with one strand, you can see it right here. I'm filling it in right there. But look at the difference between right here and what I haven't done yet. It's almost like I'm taking that dark and I'm blending it into the light a little bit. And you know what? Honestly, I think I like the contrast a little bit more. So I think I'll go a little bit more with this one, but I still think I need a color in between these two. And then I need to fill in this upper side here. So I'm going to just keep blending a little bit down here, but I don't think this is the 100% solution. I do think it is giving a little bit more of a blendy look. Oh, what am I using for a needle? So I just, I switched out my embroidery needle just because, you know, the eye of that is really big and it's a little thicker. I didn't think I needed all that if I was just going to use one strand of floss. So I just use, I mean, this is probably just a universal Sharps needle. It's just your basic sewing needle, nothing special at all. So just sometimes they're called Sharps, which is silly. That's a silly name. I don't know. Just naming a whole class of needles Sharps. I don't know. I'm sure there's some sort of history to that, but that just seems oddball. But I think going with this one strand of floss, this was smart. I should have maybe done this yesterday, just the one strand. It's looking so much more blendy than these big stitches. So I actually might go over some of these bigger stitches with just a single strand, just to give it that blendy look really quick. And really just one stitch over the top all of a sudden blends it in. You don't need much, it looks like. But yeah, I'm just going to go to the end here. We're almost out of thread, and I think I'm just going to, we'll go into the point of the needle a little bit here. I really, really want a color in between these two. You'd think with all these grays I'd have what I need a little bit. Yeah, I want to blend in between those two. It's looking fun though. I'm digging it. I think after tonight we're gonna have a lot. I mean, just using this one strand, I think maybe that was part of the trick here. Just using one strand. Could you imagine doing a large embroidery, like, you know, I don't know, even like an embroidery this big with just one strand and filling in the entire thing? Hooey. That would take like a decade. Oh, Paula, same with you. Okay, so Paula says it took her forever to get her first one of these guys, just like me. Like I said, it took me basically it had to be at least 3 months, because I think she was releasing them once a month or once every couple months. But I know I didn't get Zeb here. He was my first guy, but I didn't get him till the third or fourth round that I tried. I stuck with it though. And then I caught on. I caught on after that. Like, oh, you need to have all the stuff and you need to choose quick, and this is a whole game here, isn't it? So after that, I figured it out a little bit more. Okay, I think this is a hair darker. We're gonna just go with this. Let's see how this works. Oh, this is an odd. Huh, why do I have this big piece here? That seems weird. Oh, I probably have used this before and just wound the rest on there. That could be. Thanks, Jessica. I think we're getting there. I think this blending that we're doing tonight, I think this is going to be super helpful. And I got to go up in the eye of the needle a little bit I mean, I have to fill in this entire gap here, but down here where we just did some of that blending, I mean, that looks good, I think. I think I might actually even go over these bottom stitches with the one strand just to kind of blend those together too. This is seems to be working a lot better with just the one strand. Which sounds crazy to me, like one tiny, tiny strand. All right, let's attempt to thread this again. Again, this eye of the needle is a bit small for embroidery, but we are just using the one strand. Oh, Bev, it is Fish Museum and Circus. So if you just Google that, you'll come up. I think she also has some, she probably does not have any on the website. She'll probably have some photos, but they sell out, like I've been saying, in seconds. Oh, I'm going to start at the top here. So you have to get on her newsletter. So that's what I would suggest. Get on her newsletter, Deborah's newsletter, for Fish Museum and Circus. And she announces, okay, coming up Sunday at, 2 p.m. Eastern or whatever, she's going to launch these characters. So these are the ones that will be on. And at that time, I mean, that's where the game's at, is it's that specific. But yes, Fish Museum and Circus. So I'm going to go down this side still, try and blend in these lighter colors a little bit, and then I'm going to hop up to the top because I still have to fill in that same space. Oh yes, so Paula's got it down there, the name, Fish Museum and Circus. Oh yeah, she's on Instagram as well, I think under that same name. But yeah, I mean, you really do honestly have to get on her newsletter. That's the way to do it. And then being there on time and ready to go with a credit card. Oh, that's interesting, Gretchen. I didn't know that. But yeah, her stuff is just so cute. All right, so I'm just kind of adding a tiny bit more. It's not going to be perfect because I did use those two strands to make these stitches, and I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to get all into it. The more I add, like, I don't want it to get wider because it's already kind of like a fun, kind of silly wide needle, which I think is good. It's clear that it's a needle, I think. But I don't want to keep pushing the threads out more. So I'm just going to kind of go down to the bottom here again just to add that other extra level of blending. And then I'm going to go on this side. This side I need to almost completely fill in yet. Little by little, that's the name of this game for sure. Thanks, Rita! Yeah, this has been a kind of a fun challenge for sure. Wasn't sure how this is going to turn out. And I think this, again, is a game of just keeping on, like, let's add more, let's blend in some more colors, let's see how it goes. And I think almost the more you do, the more and more it starts looking like something. All right, I'm just going to use up this thread, and then I'll start from up at the top again. It's kind of silly, but I'm having fun. So I'm hoping to do some face masks or some face mask experimenting this weekend. We'll see. But I will keep you guys updated on how all that goes. I am going to try and do one of these ones that arc around the face a little bit more. Oh, Grace. Oh, that's awesome. So Grace says that after her first order, she found out that Deborah from the Fish Museum and Circus lives the next town over. So you could probably sneak in and get some. Oh, Christy says, I agree. If you just keep adding thread, it becomes more and more interesting. That's why I love embroidery so much. Yeah, this is, especially with this thread painting. Well, and you know what? That's how this guy worked too. You know, I just started adding in color, or like, you know, lights and darks, and it's just like, what are you doing? It's just looks so chunky and whatever, like, you know, a little kid did it or something. But the more you add to it, the more you blend one into the other, the more you like look at the little details, like actually take the needle and look really close at it, and like, oh, this part is light, but right next to it is a really dark part, and just drawing what you see instead of what you expect. So everyone knows what a needle looks like, right? It's like, oh, you got the eye, and then you got like the long part, and then the point. But if you actually look at it, you have like a little ledge here, and if you actually look at the color, it's going light, and then there's a really dark, almost black, and then it's going light, and then it's kind of gray, and then it's going dark again. If you actually just draw, okay, let's draw a light part, let's draw a dark part, let's draw a light part, and then a gray part, and then a dark part. If you just literally don't think about that you're drawing a needle and think about drawing the light, dark, dark, light, whatever it was that you're seeing, all of a sudden those little details that you're just putting on there all of a sudden look like something. So that's what's just, I think, fun about drawing and this thread painting. It's just, you gotta almost ignore what it looks like when you start, because it's gonna look horrible. And then as you just keep adding the detail and keep adding stuff in, then it's just gets better. Well, that's the thing, Gretchen. I think that's what a lot of artists do. It's about taking the time to look at all these little like mundane things, you know, just focusing energy on looking at the detail. It's just taking the time to do that, really. So if you want to get better at drawing or give it a go, that's what the first place I would start is. Just go slow and just look at the details and don't think about what you're drawing, just draw what you're seeing. Don't draw an eye of the needle, draw a light part and a dark part, because that's what you're actually seeing with your eyeballs. All right, I'm just trying to get another little strand of this. Oh, hey, Renee. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's coming along. So I'm going to fill in this top part now. Oh, did I not? What is this? Oh, I must have. I thought it felt like it was getting a little. Let's fix this. Thought my thread felt short all of a sudden. I got a little knot back here, but I think there's so much on here that I think I can thread it in my normal larger eye needle and weave in the end of this knot. Like, this is literally a knot that I didn't notice. I'm just going to kind of tuck it under all this stuff. All right. Trim that off. Now let's weave this in. Oh, that would be Christy. That sounds awesome. Yeah, and if you guys, I mean, I think the reason why I wanted to do this, and one of the reasons, is that I haven't drawn in so long or done any like painting, any like super artsy stuff, and I think I was just kind of craving a little bit of that. So if that's something you guys are interested in, just like kind of drawing like a still life session soon, I'm hoping to have my setup again where first of all I can be on YouTube and Facebook. But I can have a couple cameras. So in theory, I could have a camera on a still life, like, you know, and by that I just mean like stuff on a table. Maybe some flowers, or, you know, maybe even just the sewing machine or something, you know. So we could set up a still life where we can all look at it, and then I can kind of go through a process, like what my process would be of attempting to draw that still life, and what I'm looking at, and my reasoning behind what I'm doing, and all that. That would be kind of fun. Little side craft thing. Step away from the crafting. I consider it all making stuff. You know, there's always that huge argument of, or maybe this is only in art school, but like, what's art and versus what's craft and all that. And I think that's all just, who cares? It's about making stuff and different mediums. I think this quilting and all that is just as much art as anything else. Oh, Gina, you did a still life in 8th grade art class. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that'd be fun. You know what? I'm ordering this computer. I've been like just super busy. So now I'm gonna actually have a weekend. So I'll be able to think about this stuff, and I think I'm gonna order this computer that will allow us to do all the cameras and stuff again, and get these evenings working a little bit better again. And yeah, we'll try and set up a little fun still life thing. That'd be a fun like Saturday project, or actually that'd be a good hour-long project too. I think we could do some good work in an hour here. Man, this blending with the one thread is really fun. I mean, it really kind of just takes one area and connects it to the other area a bit. It's still such a goofy thing to be doing, stitching this needle. I think I do need to look at the needle again for this eye. I think the eye is a little weird yet, but I don't have a lot of detail or a lot of the one strand thread in there quite yet. Drop my needle. Where did I leave off? About right there. I'm wondering if there's too much white highlight. I don't know. It's still gonna look like thread stitched on here, so I'm never gonna get it super exact. But I would like to maybe get down into the point of this a little bit more. All right. I'm almost out of thread here, so it's probably good to weave that in. Wondering if I should take this super light and go over with that super light with the kind of blend in that edge, but maybe I'll just have it like in a little embroidered edge. That's kind of, it's so funny. It looks like it's sitting up on top of the fabric. I think that's because, first of all, there's a lot of thread on this, just because it is thread painting. We're just kind of like layering thread. But I think it is maybe because we have those lights and darks that make it look like a round shape. All right, let's trim that. Oh man, don't look at my nails. I just kind of pushed nail polish around on there. All right, well, I mean, I think it's looking a lot like what we were going for here. Now let's take a look at the eye. I think that's a little bit weird. I need to get some of that gray in there. It's looking a little like bright, I think. I think we need to blend in some gray maybe here and then maybe on this side. So it'd be like the inside of the eye and the outside of the eye. I think that would tone it down a hair. I mean, there is an awful lot of white here, but there's some little bits of gray. I think we just need to do that and kind of define that shape a little bit more. All right, but I think that's it really. So I'm going to just take, you know, at some point I gotta stop, right? So I will take one more of this kind of medium, light, whatever, blendy gray that we've been doing, and try and work on the eye of the needle a little bit, and then I think we just gotta call it at some point, right? So then I want to stitch the actual thread. That'll be fun. It's gonna look like it's going actually through the eye of the needle. And you know what? It says it's like a dashed line, like a running stitch, but I think maybe I'll do it like a split stitch, because a split stitch looks really kind of organic. Gosh, I did not thread that right. Let's try the other end. You know, I like the back stitch, but the back stitch has like just a lot of beady, like it almost looks like a string of pearls, I think, a back stitch, but a split stitch kind of looks more organic, like it's just one flowing line, and I think that's what I want this to look like, just like it's one piece of thread sitting up there. Oh yeah, so I didn't get last night's video up yet, so I will do that right away when we're done here. I'll get last night's video up and then this night's video up so you can see how we built it. I mean, we literally start by just sketching it, and I mean, this looks pretty good, I think. I mean, it looks like a needle, but it did not start out that way. It started out with just little bits of light and dark, and then all of a sudden it started looking like a three-dimensional object a little bit. Oh, and by the way, we talk a ton about face masks last night too, so we kind of did some random. Yes, the thread coming out of the eye of the needle will help define it. Exactly, Kathy. So that's what I'm hoping for. That's why I think maybe a split stitch will just look a little bit more real. Like if we're going with this like kind of real look, it might look a little bit better. Then if I just do a running stitch, because that just won't look as real. Okay, so I think I said I wanted to try and get on the inside of this a little bit more. I don't think this is going to take much, just a little bit around the edges. Oh gosh, even that one stitch I think made that look better. All right, let's do some more. I mean, we're kind of almost doing a stem stitch here to fill in this gap. Wow, but I think that even that looks a little bit better. Let's just jump to this side. I think we need that same effect on the outside of this, because right now it's just the white on the outside, and I think this little tinge of gray on the outside is actually helping define it a little bit better. Oh my gosh, it's 9:12 already. Sheesh Louise. This is taking some time, isn't it? All right, so, but we are almost done, and, ooh, I'm going to get, that stitch was kind of maybe outside of it a little bit. Let's get another stitch there. But I want to get the string in here yet tonight, too. So we're almost done with the needle, I think, or we should just stop with the needle. I think it's as good as it's going to be. And then we'll do that thread. I don't know. I like it. I think that kind of did it. Let's see. I think I just need one more. No, it might be just getting stupid. Just that I just wanted one little bit on the other side of that white. It's so silly. All right, I have a little bit of thread left here. I think I might just try and tone down some of this white a little bit by just doing some stitches right on the edge here. Just, again, just trying to blend this a little bit just because I have some thread on the needle yet. It was just looking a little bright, some of this white. So I'm just putting a couple single strand bits right through it. Hopefully I'm not ruining it now. We'll see. Just kind of using up the thread here, trying to straighten out my lines a little bit. All right. I think we should just stop. So I'm gonna weave in the ends here, and then we will do this other thread. And I think we should pick a fun color for it. Something maybe that we're using in the rest of the quilt, so like a coral color. Oh, I guess I don't really have a ton of thread up here though. We could use a variegated floss. That might be fun. Oh, Jasmine, are you making a bunch of masks? I want to try and do like the more kind of form-fitting ones. So I'm going to play around with that maybe Sunday. Oh, 10 a.m. there, Jessica. Nice. All right. So I'm going to just take this out of the hoop. You know what? I think I might stitch the rest out of the hoop just because I don't think it's going to fit in the hoop entirely. But I don't know. I think that's looking pretty fun. At first glance, you know, maybe you'd think that's something sitting on top of it there. I think it looks cool. It's a good attempt, I think. I'd love to do more of this for sure. More of the thread painting. All right, let's see what I got up here. All right, let's pick something from this bin just because it's looking a little bit more fun. I'm kind of thinking some of this kind of coral color because we do use this occasionally in the rest of the quilt. Maybe this one. I think that would just look awfully sweet. Don't you think I think that's pretty. Let's just go with it. This is one of my favorite colors, this kind of coral orange color. Ugh, they have the best names too. This is called Sunset. Oh, it does look like a beautiful sunset, doesn't it? That bright pink that it can get. Ugh. So this is a variegated floss by Weeks Dye Works. And this one happens to go between this pink and orange. That's like the best. I like that color a lot. All right. Let's get about that much. I got about 18 inches here, so... You know, for this, I think I'm gonna, let's see, maybe this should be kind of bigger. Should we do all 6 strands? I think let's do all 6 strands, just so this feels like a hefty thing of yarn going through here. I mean, normally, let's use a normal embroidery needle now as well. Normally I would, use only 3 strands or maybe 2 strands, but I think we do want that big feel here. All right. Okay, so now this is a split stitch. I'm going to just leave a little end here. Ooh, it's a little harder to pull through. So that's the thing. That's why I like splitting my strands too, because the more thread you have, the harder it is to pull through your fabric. I'm just going to leave a little bit of an end here that I can weave in later. I'm just going to kind of hold on to it. Okay, a split stitch. We haven't done that in a long time, but you just start at the end of your line. You go a stitch length away. I'm kind of using some big stitches, but we have some big thread here. Yeah, to match the needle, 6 strands will be good. I think so too, just to get like this fat line here. And 6 strands is also good for a split stitch, because what we're going to do now is, okay, so I made that stitch. I'm going to come back up in my fabric, but I am like literally going to split with my needle the stitch that came before. And since it's 6-strand embroidery floss, if I can get around 3 strands on one side and 3 on the other, then we've like fully split it a little bit. I think I kind of did an okay job there. Let's keep going. So this is, a good outlining stitch. I typically use a back stitch like what I was saying earlier, but how you'll see this in a sec here, with the split stitch, it does kind of merge all the stitches into one kind of organic line. And I think that just sometimes, if I don't want a beady look like how a back stitch looks, then if I want a more organic look, then the split stitch is a good idea. Actually, with how many strands we're using, it almost looks like a chain stitch. All right, I'm going to try and do some bigger stitches here. Actually, you know what? Now I might actually try and get it in the hoop after we did a few stitches there. It's just a little bit easier to handle in the hoop, I think. So when we get up to the top there, we'll have to switch back. It's just a little much to hold in my hands. All right. So some stitches work really, really well to just hold the fabric. The running stitch, for one, which is why I suspect the designer here used a running stitch. Besides, it's cute. But it is an easy one to do without a hoop. I think this split stitch needs the hoop a little bit more. Ooh, Noeline, that sounds very beautiful. Oh, I can't wait to see what you do with that, with some crushed shimmering velvet. That sounds a lot of fun. Ooh, okay, we have a decision to make here. Do we want the needle, the yarn to go through the needle from the front to the back, meaning like the thread would go like this kind of? So the thread would go over this side and then under this side, or do we want it the other way so that the thread looks like it's going through like this? I think maybe like this. What did it look like the other way? Yeah, I think so. I think so too. It just made this white part look even higher up, like taller. Yep, I think so too. It makes it look like the needle's at an angle a little bit. I like that. So we'll go under and then over. Okay. Back to the front the second way. Okay, I agree. I agree with you guys. Okay, so we'll make a stitch here. And then just to make it look as fat as the other stitches, I'm going to still go underneath here, like split the stitch. All right. Okay, so now, let's see. I'm going to come up right on the other side of the needle. There, like this. And now we'll go over the top. And I'm going to split the stitch. We'll go right here, I suppose. It's fun. It's pretty. I like this thread color a ton. You can see it go from the pink to the orange, and now it's going back to the pink. Those are like the best pretty two colors together. All the sunset colors are pretty. All right, I think I'm going to scooch the hoop over a little bit more. Let's come up here first. But you can see it's a little bit more connected, the line, because we're doing the split stitch. All right, let's get that last little bit up here. I think I'm hoping that I have just enough thread here. We're just gonna go, if I don't have enough thread, that's just gonna be the end of this thread. I'm not gonna, my fake thread here just won't have that top loop if I run out. It'll just be however much this thread I have left here. So this is fun. I would definitely give this a go again, trying to do something realistic. Something this small was probably a good thing to try it on. Versus like some big intricate thing. But even in like that tiny needle, there's detail. Ooh, I think I'm gonna have exactly just the right amount of thread. That's awesome. I feel like I feel like something's wrong here, but I can just feel the seam allowance. And that's an unfamiliar feeling for me for embroidery because, you know, usually I'm not stitching on a piece together thing. Oh, a sewing theme quilt would be so much fun, wouldn't it? That would be fun. Oh, got some sort of something happening back here. Oh my gosh. I think we got some of the threads stuck in each other. There we go. All right, so I'm going to make my stitches a little bit smaller here just because we're going around that tight curve, and for those a little bit smaller. Oh, Pom Pom Chad. I gave that to my brother for Christmas. The little Chad Pom Pom kitty. That would be fun to do again. All right, I think we'll do 2 more little stitches here. Oh, do a Chad portrait. Oh, that would be interesting. That sounds like a big challenge. That's not a bad challenge. though. That would take weeks and weeks though. But I think it would be pretty fun still. All right, let's weave in this end. Oh, look how cute it is. Okay, so this is what it was supposed to look like actually, because in the instructions it's a dashed line like that, and that's kind of what it looks like on the back here. So that would have been pretty cute too, I suppose. But I like our filled in line. I think that works for, you know, kind of the concept that we're going for. I'm just gonna try and weave. You know what? I'm gonna take it out of the hoop to do this. I need to try and weave in these ends, but the hoop's kind of in the way. It's fun. Okay, I like it. It's kind of a funny piece of thread to have on the needle. It's like a short little thread. All right, I think I'm just gonna do this. It's gonna be in the quilt and everything too. I'm not too worried about it. Fine, we'll go 1 more stitch here. A little nervous about it falling apart. All right. Oh, Lucy, like how we did that tweet house doing the coloring with the embroidery. That would be fun. Oh, that would be. See, now that maybe so a Chad portrait, Chad the kitty portrait, but kind of drawn out first, and then colored in. And then stitched a little bit. That could be kind of fun. That's like getting crazy then. That would be fun though. Oh yeah, we could do like an itty bitty one. Yeah, it'd have to be like this big. Yeah, you know what? That's a good size. That'd be just the right size for thread painting. Then we could make it into like a little pin or something. Yeah, the coloring was pretty fun. I would do that again too. There's something about, you know, drawing like pen to paper, or, you know, whatever utensil to paper that just feels extra special when you're doing it. Oop, come on. There we go. All right, let's check it out. Okay, I dig it. It's just so silly. I really like it though. It was a fun experiment. Let's call it an experiment. All right, you guys, I think we're gonna call it an evening here. I'm gonna flip you around. All right, so let me show you it from here, just because I think it looks a little bit different from far away. Ooh, it almost looks shiny, doesn't it? That's interesting. It does. It looks a little shiny, and it's not because it is shiny. It's just because we put that white line right next to that super dark line automatically kind of makes it look kind of shiny. And I love that coral orange color. It's just the best. Fun. All right, that is a finished block. We made this block like extra goofy with that needle, but I'm digging it. Awesome. So I'll get the this video up and last night's video up so you can see the building basically of the needle and kind of where I started with the drawing and what I was looking at for that. If you're interested in doing something like this, a little kind of drawing and turning it into the stitching. This is fun. I would do this again for sure. And a little Chad portrait would be a little fun kitty portrait. That would be neat. So awesome, you guys. Thank you again for joining me here. And I will see you on Monday where we'll be doing some more embroidery. It will be the sloth embroidery pattern. That's the embroidery of the month this month. So be sure to check that out on penguinandfish.com. You can get the PDF and we'll show you how to do transfer that design and all that on Monday. Have a great weekend. I'll see you then. Good night.